Hey everybody, it is Monday, July 3rd. Was chatting with a fellow on Facebook actually, and he apparently fixes winch lines, the synthetic kind. He's offered to fix our winch line. We broke it a while ago, and then in our vlog there we talked about having a broken winch line and how we could tie it back together. Well, apparently he knows how to fix them and splice them back together, so we're gonna head over to his place for 1 o'clock and first, I guess, see if it is repairable, and if it is, maybe get some footage of him fixing the winch line. So we'll see you in a bit. So I'm just here with Jordan at unstuck4x4.com.
So I've got the Instagram account up and running. There's a few things on there, unstuck_4x4. And then the Facebook account's doing nothing yet.
Okay.
But there's a website, unstuck4x4.com, where
Right.
I've got the prototype winch line that I put together up and listed for sale.
Got down here and realized that I've forgotten my hook, and I can't find it anywhere. It's going to show me a technique of how to resplice if I need to in the field, so that's pretty good of him to show me that. Yeah, thanks to Jordan at unstuck4x4.com.
So just do a little bit of math here to figure out how far down. I'm putting together a little guide you can print off, and if you buy a rope from me, I'll include it in the package. That walks you through exactly what you have to do, and even gives you all the numbers on a little chart to do one of these splices in the field. So with a tape measure and a pen and a little bit of Scotch tape or electrical tape, if that's all you got, you can put it all back together. So we've got about markings here for the eye, and these are going to come together, and this tail here is going to end up tucked inside and sucked down this entire length of rope.
Okay.
The harder you pull on it, the tighter this outside piece is going to grip, and that's going to prevent this internal piece from sliding back out. So we're using this thimble here today just because it's what I've got lying around, and this is a temporary fix anyways until you find your hook and get your everything back together.
Okay.
But the thimble I'm going to be using, and what I'm going to set you up with when I get an order of them in, is this guy here. It's a lot deeper,
Oh yeah.
it's a lot
You can
thicker, it's a
tell.
lot stronger.
Yeah.
So you can put a full 12,000 pound pull on that, and that's not going to collapse on you. Whereas this guy here, in theory it shouldn't, but this is really thin steel. So we're using this more just as a sizing thing and to help keep pieces together while we do the work. So if you ever stuck out in the bush, this is really all you need to fix your rope.
And what's
This sharp knife, this is an empty pen. Took a pencil and I gutted it, and I put a little Scotch tape around the rubber part just to lube it up a bit, make it slide a little better inside the rope. Now with an empty hollow bit on the back here, we can take the rope, insert it, tape it in place, and this is what you call a fid.
Okay.
Now
so
for professional work with these things, you can actually have a proper fid that's made by or made for specifically rope splicing. But if you're ever in a pinch, this will get you out. This will get you out of the bush. So
is it kind of like the needle of the thread kind of thing?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we do is now we've got our fid attached. We find one of the marks that we made. So here's our eye. So it's going to go in right here. So with your rope, you can kind of bunch it together, and that'll loosen it up, and you can get inside the rope that way. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't go through the middle of any of these strands. You kind of want to tuck them aside as you go through and just sort of work your way in. Now, as you bunch the rope up, it's hollow, and it begins to slide decently easy. This particular rope needs a cleaning, so it's a little more difficult than most. But again, these are probably the kind of conditions you're going to find in the bush. So you kind of work it along and work your tool, fid, or your hollow pencil.
FID?
FID, yep. Along the rope. And so we just work it down until our eye is about where we want it to be. And we're going to come out with the exit mark that we made down here. So got a bit of work to do.
I figured I'd give it a try since Jordan here is showing me how to put this together in the bush. He makes it look a lot easier.
After a lot more struggle than we expected, we're finally down to inches from the mark. Just got to get this last little bit milked down the line, and we should be able to exit, and then that will be real easy. So right now I'm just trying to get the eye in and get it sort of snugged up around it. Like I said, this is just a cheap one that I happen to have laying around. I wouldn't recommend using something like this yourself, but for this situation it's just kind of a build something temporary so that he can at least use it, and until he finds his hook and you can get a proper eye in there, we'll pull this out and reinstall it properly. So now I'm going to do what's called tapering, where we take the last bit from this mark to the end here, and we're going to remove every now and again a couple pieces, and we're going to end up with a slowly tapered piece. That's really important for strength, because if you just cut it off flat, when it gets pulled on in here, it'll create a pressure point, and that'll be a good spot for it to snap when you have pressure inside the line like that. Whereas if you taper it properly, there's no spot where it's all coming together at once.
Right.
Yeah. So what you do is, from your mark we made here to say start tapering here, you take two. So I'm going to pull this one, this buddy right here, and then we go down another 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pull these two. And same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. We pull these two. And then we just cut them off. They'll just get sucked up inside, and we end up with a properly tapered line. And then at the end, we take the last of them and you just cut them at a 45-ish. You kind of end up with a bit of a mess. These fibers tend to get everywhere, but not a big deal. Yeah, so it goes from a nice thick rope to a thinner rope to basically nothing. And so we take this and we just work it back down. See, it's after just one shot, it's mostly pulled in. All gone.
Neat.
That's very neat.
And you could hang the Jeep off that. The next thing we have to do is just put a little stitch in to keep it from coming apart when there's no load. It doesn't affect while there is load on it, but what we want to do is we just want to keep this from backing out. So this is a kind of splice that you can pull apart and adjust and rebuild as necessary. It's called a long burry splice. Just put some thread through, back and forth a few times to lock it down. Now normally you'd use some whipping thread or fishing line or something that's going to stay and not going to deteriorate out in the elements. And we try and work our way as much as possible in between threads or the yarns here. I mean, once you get into the core of it, you really can't see where you're going, but again, when you come out, try and come out in between. So the less you interfere with these yarns, the stronger your rope is going to be. And you go down 2 from where you came out. There we go. So having done that, now we should be able to pull on this. That's not going anywhere. Slap a shackle on that, see if we can pull my Jeep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
we'll purchase a new synthetic line from him in the future. So this will be our backup. So we're not too concerned about how it looks, or as long as it's functioning.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, man. Have a good one.
So we're just leaving Jordan's place, unstuck4x4.com. He hooked us up, got our winch line fixed. So we're going to keep some Scotch tape in our kit. Big thanks to Jordan. He helped us out, put in a lot of time and effort to get this fixed for us. So I'm going to put a link to his website in the description below. So go over to his website, and if you're going to purchase a synthetic line, or he also has synthetic rope shackles, he has those too. So go check that out on his website. Thanks again to unstuck4x4.com.